All right. So, coming into tonight, the third day of the DNC, I was super worried. They hadn't hit Trump enough. They seemed complacent, the Democrats did. They thought like they were overconfident, like they had this thing wrapped up. And I was like, for God's sake, hit Donald Trump already and give me some fiery speeches. Now, but they had a big lineup coming up. You know, they had Tim Kaine, Joe Biden, Bloomberg, President Obama, et cetera, right? And then, but we're on pins and needles if they do a John Kerry-like convention and they're all sweet and hugs and rainbows, and then they don't hit Trump. That's a missed opportunity. It turns out today they came with a chair, a 2x4, a blowtorch, and a lead pipe.
Relax.
And they went to work on my homes. Okay. No, I won't relax.
No,
okay?
you're going way above and beyond. I think that there was a little more attacking happening during the third night of the convention, no question about it. But the attacks could have been a lot more aggressive. You got to drive the point home. Look, when you're focusing so much on how great Hillary is, and you talk about things like, if you want to deregulate the banks, Hillary Clinton's for you. No one believes that. No one believes that. Focus. The majority, I disagreed with you at the beginning. Remember, I was like,
you did.
I did. Because Cenk said, you know what, 95% of this needs to be about attacking Trump. And I'm like, relax. You need a good mix of, talking about, Hillary Clinton's progressive angles while also attacking Trump. But no, you're right. Every time they talk about Hillary Clinton, doing things like deregulating the bank or regulating the banks, I roll my eyes because it's not true. It's not true. You have to focus on Trump because the second the speeches veer away from that, I can't help but roll my eyes. I'm just being honest with you guys.
You're right. I agree. Every time that they would make a good point about Trump, they came at Trump with a belt buckle, an ice pick, and brass knuckles, and then Obama had the nunchucks on him. Good speech.
I think there was a good amount of attacking. I mean, like Tim Kaine, it felt like he talked for a really long time, but a big chunk of it was specifically attacking Donald Trump. A big chunk of it. Michael Bloomberg, big chunk of it was attacking from different angles. I mean, they had a full ad which was just quoting all of the most reputable Republicans from the past 20 years, all saying why Trump could never be president. You had them mocking him, mocking his mannerisms. You had them, from a very serious point of view, talking about how important the job is and how he's not ready for it. You had the New York point of view of him being a con man. You stressed that he was taking advantage of the people that were at their weakest and needed him the most. I mean, they attacked him on national security, on his business endeavors, on his personal hygiene. They attacked him on everything.
So let me be clear about one thing. The videos throughout this convention have been amazing. Okay, they're winning with the videos. Okay,
they're not losing.
They're making good videos, not bad videos. No,
Believe me.
The video that you just mentioned right now, where you have Republicans talking about the inexperience and complete and utter disaster Donald Trump would be when it comes to foreign policy. That was the best video of this entire convention. It was very powerful, and I wish the speeches were more like that, right? Tim Kaine's speech, aside from the few moments when he did funny impressions of Donald Trump, the Believe Me impression, his speech was terrible, in my opinion. Like, the beginning of it was, I want to thank my wife, and I want to thank my agent and my manager, and my family's up there. Look, that's the beginning of your speech. Like, the beginning of your speech should be what really draws the audience in or draws the electorate in. It did the exact opposite. I was very much interested to hear what he had to say. In fact, I didn't want you guys talking at all, okay? I was getting annoyed if you said one word during the beginning of the speech. Halfway through it, I grabbed my phone. I'm like, what's going on with Twitter? What are other people saying? Because it didn't engage me. It was his moment to prove what, establishment Democrats have been saying, that he's progressive. Okay, prove it to me. Show me how progressive you are. He did not do that.
Okay, so I like that Annex coming in with a reverse blowtorch here and providing some skepticism. Look, I was skeptical about the first 2 days. Okay. Overall, though, I don't agree. I think that, don't get me wrong, I agree with Tim Kaine's speech analysis that you did. I thought he's got to prove himself here, and 2/3 of the speech was milk toast. I don't even know what that thing is, but it was like, whatever it is, it was that. It was like those rice cakes you eat in Passover. Like, oh, why am I eating this? And then somebody comes along and says, no, it's really good, believe me. And then I was like, okay, when he's mocking Trump, then we had fun. And because, as John pointed out in the play-by-play, you have to mock his mannerisms and his verbal tics so that the next time Trump goes, believe me, you think of Tim Kaine mocking him, and then it gets in his head. So that was really well played. Look, the beginning, as usual, was like they tiptoed towards Joe Biden. But before there, Leon Panetta wasn't bad. There was some protests of him, some chanting about no more wars and stuff from the Sanders people. But Admiral Hudson actually gave a really strong speech that started that. He was like, psh, you know how you open up the blowtorch? Psh. And I was like, ooh, a blowtorch has been opened. Admiral Hudson hit him hard.
Yeah.
Oh, Admiral on deck, right? So I was like, now maybe we're getting a little bit better. And I want to say Biden to the end. Bloomberg, really solid, saying like, I'm from New York. I know a con man when I see one. I was like, damn. And he said, the richest thing about Donald is his hypocrisy. I was like, oh, elbow from
That was a good line.
from a Manhattan skyscraper. Boom, right? And then of course the line. Look, there wasn't a zinger. It was just true. He said, why don't we vote for someone who's sane and competent? And that sums it up.
Yeah.
That really does. Because for all my issues with Hillary Clinton, she's definitely sane and she's competent in her own way, right? Whereas the other guy's neither sane nor competent. And so that I much better speech than I expected and hit Donald Trump pretty hard too. Obama gave rock solid Obama. I mean, that's who he is. He's the Rock, even though Tim Kaine has the people's eyebrow. So he came in and he did this cadence as he does. He does his, he builds up to a crescendo. He did his snide comments about Donald Trump and mocked him in an effective way. He backed Hillary Clinton in a good way. And on the whole I alone thing, I'm glad he brought that up. And he said, we Americans, we don't look to be ruled.
That's a great line.
I was like, yes, that's
House
a nice
America's words. We don't look to be ruled.
Okay. And I want to give you the theme overall. What I was looking for is, what is the fight in this Democratic Party? Do they have it? Because that was the thing I was looking for in 2012. Because Obama did not have much of a fight during his first term. He did in 2008 when he was running. So what's he going to do in 2012? And in 2012, they ran the coffin ad. That was when the guy came out and said, oh, I built this big stage when Mitt Romney's Bain Company took over our plant, and then they came up and spoke on the stage and fired us all. And I thought, oh my God, I built my own coffin.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, they're gonna win. Obama's gonna win, because that's a real campaign. That's how you do politics. And tonight, I got a sense from the Hillary Clinton camp that they might build a couple of coffins for the Republicans as well. Because this is how you run a tough campaign. And you turn those videos into ads, these speeches into the context of your ads. Now we're on to something. Because you got to make the election about Trump. And now I know at least they know how to hit him, and they're not shy about hitting him. So we're now back in the ballgame. Don't get me wrong. I had Trump up by 4. You know why? Because that's what the polls say, and they're actually real. I know nobody in Washington believes them, but they're real. But tonight, I've got back at a tie ball game. And that's a lot better than where we started the day. But don't get overconfident. A tie ball game with a maniac as one of the contestants is not that great a place to be.
Yeah, I think Trump U that's a coffin. I think that taking the money from the 9/11 Small Business Recovery Fund is a coffin. Mike Bloomberg had a lot of great lines. He's not the person really to deliver them, but he laid out a framework for how you can attack him in terms of his business credentials. And I think it gets to what I was saying yesterday, that you have to remind people he's not the regular Joe who speaks like you and is just as racist as you've always wanted to be in public. He's the guy pulling the strings from the top of a tower in Manhattan and trying to pluck every dollar out of the weakest Americans' pockets. Veterans, the poor, people who are on their last leg and are trying to get ahead. And there are just too many case studies in his personal history of him doing that. He writes the ads for you. He writes the fucking dialogue for you, too.
It was, you know what? I think it was a bit of a tightrope that the Democrats walked tonight because you want to attack Donald Trump, But at the same time, you don't want to have a dark cloud come over your convention, like I think came over their convention when they attacked Hillary way too much in that way, and the way they did it.
Yeah.
And I think they threaded the needle. I think they did it. I think they were able to, the videos using Republicans talking, saying negative things about them, and the way they also said they were always kind of clever. All the lines where they attacked him were really perfect lines, as far as I can tell. And so I think they really did thread that needle. I think they did what you said they needed to do. Plus, they kept it positive and lovey-dovey, which is what lefties normally do. So I think this should get them a bump.
Yeah, I think this gets them a bump. And now, finally, Joe Biden. That was a legendary speech. No, I'm not kidding around. I remember the Audacity of Hope speech that Obama gave in 2004. We were there in Boston. Ben and I were covering it on radio, and I wrote Audacity of Hope and then underlined it. And I got a similar sense from Joe Biden's speech. That might have been the last big speech of his career, and it was a walk-off home run. So I'm just going to give you some of the lines from it. First of all, he did the folksy stuff about, oh, that's a bunch of malarkey. He's Uncle Joe. He's always told it like it is, all with gaffes included. And you got that malarkey line, that's fine. Then, he really got to the essence of Trump in a way that nobody else did. He did what I've been asking for the whole time. He said, remember, his slogan is, "You're fired." That's his catchphrase. And he said, who celebrates that?
Yeah.
Who grew up thinking, I can't wait to tell someone you're fired? He's like, that's not America. That's a dark vision of America. Yes, that's so true. Yeah. And then great lines like, America is not just built on the example of our power, but also on the power of our example. Okay. And when he talked about his loss, he's lost Beau Biden earlier. He lost many more people in his family. And he said, but I've grown strong in broken places. Oh. That is a really powerful line. That really hit me right in the beginning of the speech. And then what Ben texted me in the middle because he couldn't join us here. The line he knew I'd love most. He said, we own the finish line, us Americans. And at the end, he literally said, come on, we are America. And I know it's a little jingoistic. I know that it's a little too patriotic, but damn, I loved it. Because he talked about the positive vision of America that I love, that I signed up for. And he did it with strength, and he did it with passion. So it was a pitch perfect speech from Joe Biden. If everyone in America could see that speech, then the Democrats would win. So I think tonight was a great night for the Democrats, and I think they're right back in it now, and did what I was skeptical that they could do, but they did. They did. Really nice job tonight.
Yeah. They attacked with class, if I would say.
Yep. All right, that's what we got for you guys. Obviously, tomorrow's a big, big night. Hillary Clinton's going to speak. There's been protests all over. We covered it all day for you. We'll do the same. By the way, you got to join us. Come on, you love independent media. You love it. Where are you going to get this kind of passion? Joe Biden and us. That's it. Okay. And we've been through a lot, too. We've also grown strong in broken places. So, and we did that with you. TYTnetwork.com/join. Become part of the TYT Army. Today I found out Congressman's wife is part of the TYT Army. I love it. I love it. We're so strong together. So thank you guys for making that possible. Look, I'm going to do more of this tomorrow night, but I want to thank the crew. I want to thank all the TYT guys that are here. But these guys, they've stuck with us through everything, through thunderstorms and invasions of the set. And we grew strong together. I don't mean to use the slogan of the convention here, but I love this, and I want to thank all you guys for watching too. So we'll do one more night, guys. We'll do one more night. YouTube, and not just night, all throughout the day, from noon all the way to midnight. YouTube.com/TYT to watch it all. TYTnetwork.com/join to become a member and become part of the show. Thank you guys, and bye-bye.